Yesterday we studied about the banking sector of Pakistan, and today we are going to start 15th chapter from our book Zadi, Issues in Pakistan Economy, which is about monetary policy, savings and inflation in Pakistan. Monetary policy is about the money supplies, rate of interest, which is usually controlled by the state bank. Monetary policy is concerned with the regulation of the quantity, cost, and allocation of money and credit in our economy. And its mechanism has implication for the economy. Higher interest rate will discourage the investment. Higher money supply will induce the inflation. And so it have very important role in determining the important variable of the economy. Higher interest rate is also introduced to encourage the saving, but it may discourage the investment. For many economists, for example, inflation is always and everywhere is a monetary phenomenon. But for some countries, it is not true. There are many other reasons for the inflation in the many countries. Fiscal policy and the monetary policy are two basic tools of the economics to shape an economy, to regulate it, to move the indicators and the variables in the direction which is desired. Fiscal policy is controlled by the government, which is about the taxes and the expenditures and the revenue collection. And monetary policy in many other countries is not controlled by the government. Government only give a indication of, or it give the targets which are the desired by the monetary policy, but it does not directly control the monetary policy. And the outcome and the consequences of these rules and targets are left to the market or for the banks in the other countries. But in the Pakistan, monetary policy has been a much more government control and influence tool than in the many other countries. Interest rate have been predetermined in the Pakistan, and the strict sectoral credit targets defined, and the market has until recently not played a role. In other countries, interest rate is determined by the market forces. Like the other things, when supply and demand of a good determine the price, like that, when the demand for the credit increases, interest rate increases, and when it decreases, or the saving increases, interest rate may have to decrease. But after the IMF interference, the structure of the monetary policy has changed in Pakistan. And there is another thing which we will discuss in this chapter is the saving rate. In Pakistan, saving rate have been very low over the years. This chapter will try to examine the reason why the saving rate is so low and what, if anything, can be done to increase the saving rate in the Pakistan. The financial sector of Pakistan has gone under many changes since 1991. It is done at the urge of the IMF, which is the architect of the Pakistan economic and the fiscal policy. The IMF has been recommending for some year now a shift to the market-based management of the monetary policy. As according to the IMF, the managed or the controlled monetary policy is not good for the economy. So on the direction of the IMF after the 1991 financial sector has gone under a lot of changing. Before the 1991 financial sector was not organized, and it was not well organized, it was highly unorganized, and its system was only just to control the credit distribution. In 1972, when the banking sector reforms were undertaken, a National Credit Consulting Council was established to determine the distribution of credit in the economy and to improve and make the credit available to those which are the areas which are the priority for the government. As it is described that before this time period, the monetary policy was usually controlled by the government. And first of all, government recognized their physical requirements, and then it will elaborate that how the credit will be distributed. So the physical requirements for the government as elaborated in the budget each year used to determine how the government would manage its credit and the debit policy for this year. And then the government used to borrow from the State Bank of the Pakistan by selling its ad hoc treasury bill at a rate of return 0.5% per annum. And commercial bank had to invest at least 30% of their demand and the time deposit in Government of Pakistan paper. The paper that they invested in was also available on tap and carried a low rate of return of the 6%, which was artificially maintained at 6%, because when it was left for the market forces to decide the rate of interest, it increased from 6% to the 13%. So there are the following adverse effects of the policies of the government which were adopted before the 1991. First of all, there was an excess liquidity problem. Liquidity होता है कि आपको कैश की availability कितनी है. So there was a liquidity problem as banks, while accepting as many deposits as came their way, were not able to lend them due to the credit ceiling imposed on them by the government. Non-performing loans on the political and uneconomic grounds affected the profitability of the commercial banks, as they could not offer high rate of return on deposits, hence discouraging these deposits. Again, non-bank financial institutions which were not under the supervision of the State Bank of Pakistan were able to mobilize a large amount of financial savings than the banks, because at that time people were have trust more on those institutions because they were offering higher rates than on the commercial banks. Since interest rates on the government saving instruments were higher than those offered by the commercial bank, so there were the two financial sector, two markets side by side. There was the segmentation in the financial market. The disintermediation of the financial sector took place due to these four above reasons, which are described in this section. The government of Pakistan debt structure was of the short-term maturity, requiring regular outflows and the heavy refunding. As a result of the above structure, the government did not have much control over the issuance of the debt, since new issues were and so there was a lack of cash management control driving from the encashment feature on the government of the Pakistan that this led to an unpredictable and volatile pattern of encashment which complicated cash forecasting and reduced the government ability to manage this cash present. It was this old structure with its numerous problems and the consequences that came under attack by IMF and the World Bank. And IMF and the World Bank, these two organizations tested a drastic reconstruction of financial sector to replace it with a more market-oriented structure. So this tested to remove the distortions and the segmentation of the financial market by creating a homogeneous market for the government debt instruments. No, second, switch from an administered interest rate setting to the market-based interest rate. Mean interest rate should not be set by the government, it should be determined by the market forces. Allocate credit in response to the market forces of demand and supply, and it should not also be determined or directed by the government. Create and encourage the development of the secondary market for the government securities and strengthen the health and the competitiveness of the banking system of the Pakistan. So one of the main aim of the government on the advice of the IMF and the World Bank was to establish a market determined by money market where instruments in primary and secondary markets are traded to regulate the money credit and the interest rate. After these reforms, banks started moving toward an increased use of the market mechanism The direction is one in which open market buying and the selling of the government securities along with the determination of the interest rate became the main instrument of the monetary policy with the passage of the time. Despite all these efforts and the reforms from the government, there was the much improvement in the financial sector of the Pakistan, but secondary market for the government securities could not be established. There are some reasons. First of all, it was the lack of the trust between the financial institution and the Ministry of Finance. And the Ministry of the Finance, acting on the behalf of the State Bank, is perceived to fixing price of the securities in an arbitrary fashion in order to keep debt servicing costs low, thereby hindering the functioning of the markets. So it could not establish the secondary market. The government has taken arbitrary and the inconsistent action in accepting and rejecting the bids, and it is believed that the fiscal consideration rather than the monetary policy have been determining the debt management strategy. There are a few very large and a number of the small players in the secondary market who trade in a limited number of the securities. Other government paper which is vastly superior to the treasury bill and FIBs in the terms of the rate of return and the tax exemption has reduced the attractiveness of the latter two and hence of the secondary market. Government of Pakistan in its economic survey 1994 to 1995 claimed that the interest rate structure underwent changes so that it is ultimately determined by the free market forces. According to the conventional wisdom, all sorts of the direct control on interest rate movement must be removed and the market left to itself is supposed to set the right price of the borrowing money. However, because of the government intervention in credit market, different sets of the rates return exist which do affect the functioning of the money market. So here we saw that the government not only controlling the fiscal policy but also the monetary policy of the Pakistan. In the recent program, IMF also urged that monetary policy should be conducted by Central Bank of Pakistan and government should not influence the market forces. It should be free for the market forces to determine the interest rate and the other factor of monetary policy. So we are still there where we were in last 2 decades about the monetary policy. Next is inflation and its causes. We will see it tomorrow. Any question?